Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting of the Town of Pinetop-Lakeside Council to order. We do have a quorum. Welcome. I would ask that you stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, and please remain standing for the invocation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Keith?
Yes, it's me. Our Father in heaven, we humbly come before Thee this night to thank Thee for our many blessings and for our gratitude in being able to meet in this town council meeting. We're thankful for this council and for their service to our community and for all that they do as they represent and work with our citizens. We're thankful for Thy blessings upon us, and we're thankful for the moisture that we have had throughout the summer, and what a blessing that has been to see our lakes and our rivers and reservoirs fill back up. We're thankful for this beautiful area. We pray that Thou continue to bless us in our economy and for our businesses and for our citizens. We ask Thee to bless our emergency responders, our police department, and protect them as they serve and work within the community. And we ask Thy blessings to be, and Thy Spirit to be with us now as we discuss items important to our town and to the council. And we say this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you, Keith. Item B on our agenda tonight is call to the public. This is a business meeting of the Town Council. The town values and welcomes public input. Please address the council as a whole and not individual council members. Do not address staff or members of the audience. Council action on items brought up and called to the public is limited by the open meeting law. The council may direct staff to study the matter and reschedule for further consideration at a later date. Items on the agenda are not heard and called to the public, and individuals are limited to 3 minutes. We have 2 requests tonight. First, Todd Clark, if you'd like to come up. I had the pleasure of meeting Todd this past weekend. He's our new general manager at Sunrise, and I wanted him to come tell us a little bit about himself and his plans. So welcome, Todd.
Yeah, thank you. All right, so Sunrise, does anybody ski or snowboard here? Show of hands. Used to. Mr. Watson will be back out there this winter. All right, so I joined Sunrise officially in July, physically came full-time in August, and just really wanted to share what our prerogative is. So Sunrise completed 50 years of operations this past winter, so we're on our 51st. It is definitely a main staple in the community, but it's one that's kind of been in and out of really good planning and preparation. So my efforts have been to come in, improve the processes, the experience, the value, and create more overall a better perception of experience and the notion that, you know, someone will put on their calendar when they're going to return. In the past, it's been long lines for tickets, for rentals, for everything. So we've combated that by revamping our operations, our point of sale system. So everything is a 20-minute or less. So that's our focus coming in this year, with better value on food, higher quality, and just everything well planned out. So a lot of advanced online sales. So things that Sunrise just really hasn't focused on in the past. Since 2014, the point of sale system, which basically sells everything Sunrise, has never been correctly. No product, not one single one, has ever been built and therefore was unable to be sold correctly. So all of that's revamped. But what does this mean? It means the better experience we create, the more likely people come to this community and surrounding communities. So our goal is to be a better neighbor and really just try to communicate, do cooperative relationship marketing throughout this region. Ultimately, our success creates a better success in the community, and our ability to be linked to the community creates a better success for Sunrise as well. As we approach this coming summer season, we'll restore base area buildings. And so Mr. Watson will come out next year when we get Cyclone Mountain back online. with actually repairing cyclone lift. If you don't know, we've had lift service to 2 of the 3 mountains. Next summer brings the 3rd one back online. So we're dedicated to really delivering what Sunrise is capable of, and we will take the past experiences, improve upon them, and not repeat them. So.
Thank you very much. We look forward to partnering with you in whatever way we can to help you make everything a success at Sunrise. So welcome to our community.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming tonight, Todd. Next request is from Mr. Jim Snitzer.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I'm really standing in for Diana Butler. She planned to be here but wasn't feeling well. I have a press release which I'll give you a copy of shortly. I've got a couple of photographs that I'll put on the table in the back, but I'd just like to read the press release. Nature Center receives, and I want to say thank you. Tony's not here. Tony Alba kicked this off. He made us aware of a grant opportunity and then took a lot of work, but we applied for it. Nature Center receives major grant. New amphitheater will benefit entire town. 11/18/21, Diana Butler, president of the White Mountain Nature Center, released the following. We are gratified today to announce that the Nature Center has been awarded a grant of $250,000 from the Arizona Office of Tourism. The AOT grant program was designed to help across the state, but especially to help certain organizations located in rural communities that depend on tourism. Although Pinetop-Lakeside as a whole weathered the worst of the COVID-19 storm, the Nature Center was heavily affected. In 2020, almost all of the programs, including fundraising, were canceled. Thankfully, the Nature Center pulled through in good shape thanks to some generous donations and by leasing out some of its property. The purpose of this grant is to help expand tourism opportunities in our community. For the Nature Center, that means a new multi-use complex, including an amphitheater and supporting infrastructure to support a world-class raptor flight show. Tourists, residents, and their guests will all benefit. In September, the Nature Center announced a partnership with Belinda Strauss-Snyder and John Glistos of Land on Sky Wildlife Experiences to bring raptor shows to the White Mountains, starring Funky the Owl and several other awe-inspiring raptors. Land on Sky personnel helped write the AOT grant application. Construction of the complex to house and train the raptors, and the pictures included in the press release, will begin shortly at the Nature Center. It was designed by WDM Architects of Wichita, Kansas, who designed the new amphitheater at the Phoenix Zoo and donated their time for the first phase of this project. The company that presents the bird shows at Disney World is assisting with staging and scripting for the shows and is also donating their time. Contractors in the area are contributing their time and talents as well. Dan Brooks Surveying of Sholo donated the topographical survey required to begin architecture. Zeb Dahl of Sheeran Consulting donated engineering, and David Morris of Western Pine Development is donating his time as the general contractor. The project is receiving support from all sorts of businesses in the area, including the town of Pinetop-Lakeside. The initial structures include a giant netted training enclosure and a viewing patio. Daily training sessions will be available free to the public. It is hoped that watching training inspires the community and attracts donations essential in feeding and care of the animals and completing the infrastructure project, including lighting, sound, landscaping, and other critical components. The amphitheater, and again, there's a picture of that, will be located on a particularly attractive spot in the rear of the Nature Center property, overlooking a pond and wetlands area and some open forest land. It will incorporate comfortable seating, handicapped access, and a multi-function stage. Having a first-class facility like this in our community will open up all kinds of new opportunities, Butler noted. In addition to the raptor shows, she envisions it being used for community events, meetings and presentations, music shows, weddings, perhaps even for showing outdoor movies. Donation to the building fund are being accepted now at www.wmnature.org. Now, we'll mention it's a 250-person amphitheater, so this is a big deal for our community. Having an amphitheater like that just opens up, name your dream, and it gives us a place to hold it. So some place where 250 people can come and sit, handicapped access. We'll be looking for other donations to help us install sound system, lighting, everything else in world-class amphitheater ought to be. So this is something really great to be bringing to our community. And so I thank Tony for making us aware of it, and for all the people that worked on getting the grant.
Thank you. That is very exciting news. Congratulations to all of you from the Nature Center. That's very exciting. Anyway, thank you, Jim. Hopefully Diana feels better soon. Item C on our agenda tonight is the consent agenda. All items listed are considered routine matters and will be enacted by one motion of the council. There will be no separate discussion unless a member of town council requests that an item or items be removed. Council members may ask questions without removal of the item from the consent agenda, and items removed are considered in their normal sequence as listed, unless called out of sequence. As you can see, we have one item on our consent agenda tonight. Vice Mayor?
Yes, I move that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? All in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. Thank you. That carries unanimously. Item D, business before the council. Public comment will be taken at the beginning of each agenda item after the subject has been announced by the mayor and explained by staff. Any citizen who wishes may speak one time for 5 minutes on each item, either before or after council discussion. Questions from council members may be directed to staff or a member of the public through the mayor at any time. Item D1 is Native American Heritage Month Proclamation. Whereas Arizona is situated in a diverse and culturally rich region of 22 various tribal nations and communities, and whereas these homelands have existed since time immemorial, we acknowledge the contributions of Native Americans long before the formation of the United States and the entry of the state of Arizona into the Union. And whereas the state of Arizona recognizes the right of these 22 tribal nations to exercise sovereign authority as defined by federal law, over their members and their territory. And whereas the land of these 22 tribal nations comprises approximately 28% of Arizona's land base. And whereas these tribal members are citizens of our great state, possess all the rights and privilege afforded by Arizona to its citizens, and along with other American Indians, comprise approximately 5% of Arizona's population. And whereas we revere the memory of fallen patriots who have fought to ensure the freedoms afforded to all citizens of the United States. And whereas we acknowledge the unique challenges faced by American Indians historically and in the present. And whereas it benefits the state of Arizona to partner with tribal nations on issues affecting all of Arizona to ensure the vitality of tribal communities and its members. Now, therefore, I, Stephanie Irwin, Mayor of the town of Pinetop-Lakeside, do hereby proclaim November 2021 as Native American Heritage Month in the town of Pinetop-Lakeside. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused to be affixed the seal of the town of Pinetop-Lakeside, Arizona, done in concurrence with the Pinetop-Lakeside Town Council this 18th day of November 2021. Moving on to item D2, is consider the approval of extending the landscaping maintenance contract until July 31st, 2022 with It's Magic Landscape and Design, Inc. Malena.
Hi, good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council. Before we move forward, I just wanted to let you know that after the agenda packet had gotten distributed, we noticed that there was a typo. The extension for the Fourth Amendment of the contract is actually to June 30th, 2022, so not July 31st. So we've since corrected that error, but just so you're aware that the contract would actually just extend to June 30th, 2022.
Okay, so does anybody need explanation of this? Councilor Buse?
I have a few questions I'd like to ask. So in the Parks Department, how many employees do we currently have?
Currently, including our parks manager, Frank Naranjo, we have 6 employees.
Okay. And I suppose the question would be asked, you know, why isn't our Parks Department taking care of all of these things?
Yes. Yeah.
And so I guess my question, and obviously I assume it's because we don't have enough people to do that. So my next question would be, how many more staff would the Parks Department need to handle all of these?
So I can't give you like an exact answer to tell you that we know for sure we're going to need 3 more employees, but we do estimate that we would need 2 to 3 more employees to take care of all of the facilities and landscaping that It's Magic takes care of currently, as well as the cemetery. It is something that we would absolutely look into and consider moving forward as this contract is coming to an end, and we'll need to make a decision whether we move forward with going out to bid for a new contract or hiring additional staff to fill that void.
Okay.
If that's a direction that council would like us to take, we would absolutely kind of do a little bit of a in-house study on how many employees we definitely need.
And I know you don't have an exact number either, but so approximately how much would that cost?
So each parks employee, depending on how long they've been there and the qualifications that they've gotten, what, you know, certifications and that they've received, it's anywhere from $50,000 to $65,000 annually, including the benefits for
Okay.
each of those employees. So roughly $100,000 for if it would take 2 employees.
Okay, and that does include all benefits and
That
everything,
does.
though? Okay.
Yes, that's correct.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Continuing on with your line of questioning, though, not only would it take additional staff, but I believe there may be additional equipment we would need to buy to do the maintenance that It's Magic currently does, or a
Correct.
contractor.
Correct, as well as additional certifications with spraying licenses, much more additional equipment with sprayers to spray for pesticides, for pests and insecticides, the pest control and insecticide control. So,
Any other questions or comments? I feel like It's Magic has been doing a really nice job for us, and so it's nice to have somebody who takes pride in their work in our community.
absolutely.
So, do I have a motion? Vice Mayor?
I move to approve the Fourth Amendment landscape maintenance contract between the town of Pinetop-Lakeside and In Bloom Nursery - It's Magic Landscape and Design Inc.
Second?
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded to approve the extension of landscape maintenance contract until June 30th, 2022. Fourth Amendment. All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. Thank you. That carries unanimously. Thank you, Melina.
You're welcome.
Item D3 is consider the approval of resolution number 21-1596, approving Arizona State Parks and Trails grant agreement for Mountain Meadow Recreation Complex ADA Trail.
Yes. So as it says in your packet, we actually applied for this grant back over a year ago in July of 2020. Unfortunately, like so many other things, COVID delayed the award of the grant, but we did just get that awarded in October. So this is a project that I believe it was in the council retreat in 2019 that it was discussed and presented the Mountain Meadow Infrastructure Improvement Plan. And this ADA path was included in that. So it's something that we've been working toward and dreaming of, I guess you would say, for a few years now. And with the completion of the path around Woodland Lake Park, we'd like to incorporate an ADA path at Mountain Meadow. And this grant would give us assistance to do so.
Thank you. Any questions or comments on this one? We do have that in the upcoming, or in our current budget. I know that. So what is the timing of the project? Do we have to wait till springtime, or?
So we have a couple projects that our special projects crew is buttoning up, and I believe that the goal is to begin that after the first of the year, weather dependent. So.
Very exciting. Any other questions, comments? A motion?
I move that we approve Resolution 21-1596, approving Arizona State Parks and Trails Grant Agreement for Mountain Meadow Recreation Complex ADA Trail.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you. I was waiting for Vice Mayor.
I was waiting for Jerry.
It's been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 21-1596. All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. Thank you. That carries unanimously. We look forward to that project.
Yes.
That's
Thank
very
you.
exciting. Thank you, Milena.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
You as well. Item D4 is consider resolution number 21-1597, declaring and adopting the results of the special election held on November 2nd, 2021. Jill?
Yes, Mayor and Council, this item is to declare and adopt the results from the special zoning referendum election held on November 2nd, 2021. It was an all-mail-in ballot election with 1,153 ballots cast. 350 ballots cast were for approving, and 850 ballots cast were against approving.
Thank you. Any questions, comments for Jill?
Can we do an audit? No, I'm just kidding. Bad joke.
Very bad. Do I have a motion? Vice Mayor?
Sure, I can say. I move to adopt resolution number 21-1597, declaring and adopting the results of the special election held on November 2nd, 2021.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Councilor Buse. It's been moved and approved to adopt resolution number 21-1597. All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. Thank you. That carries unanimously. Item D5 is reports from council committee liaisons and town manager on the business of those committees to which you are assigned. I think we'll start tonight with Councilor Hastings. Switch it up a little bit.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Today we had a delicious lunch served at the center. The count was up, which is good news, 36 and 20. That is, we're still gaining people to take out food, but that's all right. We're gaining people. We had 4 new ladies come today, and each of them expressed real sincere interest in volunteering at some point in exchange for a lunch. Because if you volunteer 4 hours, you're granted a food, a lunch, and that's real important to us. Our volunteer pool is low at the moment. We'll be having a Christmas party. We will be closed the week before Christmas due to the fact that our cook has an emergency surgery for his wife. And we will close the center, and it comes at a good time because we also are getting new equipment in from our inheritance. New tables, pedestal tables, chairs with arms that we've been waiting a long time for. And we're very excited about that. So it's all coming together because the roofers are coming on the same week before Christmas. We don't have a clear estimate yet. We all have good thoughts that the insurance company will help us on the catastrophic damage that we had done during the last storm. And that's all.
That's all. Thank you, Councilor Hastings. Councilor Buse.
Report on Blue Ridge Schools. Excuse me. Big impact due to the COVID. Absenteeism is a big issue, and the feeling is that some of it has to do with people actually sick from COVID or exposed to COVID, but much of it also has to do with the last 18 months. People haven't been coming to school, so they kind of got used to that, and now they kind of like not coming to school. So anyway, they're dealing with that issue. They've identified 178 students as suffering from trauma due to multiple COVID deaths in their individual families. Just to give you an idea of some of the things they're dealing with. And they're working on identifying students who are in crisis in the schools there. They've got a couple of building projects where they're converting a building to affordable teacher housing. And then there's another project they had started back many years ago that they're trying to finish that as well, which will provide some housing, some affordable housing. Also, the district is working now with a group to reopen the Love Kitchen. Hopefully, they're hoping that will occur in January. They plan on going forward. Choir, band, orchestra concerts will be coming in December. Just 2 weeks ago, I think it was, the state cross country, Stephen Halls was in the top quarter of the state, and the entire ladies cross country team came in 9th overall in our state division there. Boys and girls soccer and volleyball teams all went to state playoffs, didn't make it through the playoffs, but they did go to the playoffs. And our Blue Ridge chess team had 8 qualify for nationals. And this weekend actually will be the state individual championships here at Blue Ridge, hosted by Blue Ridge. So also there's the production of Annie, which isn't really a school production, but involves a lot of Blue Ridge schools, and that's happening over at Blue Ridge tonight, actually. Tonight and tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, and then Saturday, I believe, at 1 o'clock. So that's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Councilor Buse. Councilor Craigbaum.
I don't have much of a report tonight, but I was wondering if I could ask Councilor Hastings about the food bags that are given out at the senior center. Is that a senior center project now still? Is it
Yes,
going
it is.
on? How many do you do and all that? I saw it today when
Okay.
we served lunch, and that was what I
Right.
wanted to know. How is that going?
It's going slowly, but it's increasing every week. We had a day where we did 47 bags out of 68, which was a high count. The word's traveling around. People are they're reluctant to come to a senior center. Sometimes they don't want to admit that they really need the food. We found the sentence that I instructed the volunteers that are working out there to use was, well, if you can't use it, we can pass it forward. Surely, someone in your neighborhood or your church or that's in need, and then the bag goes out the door.
Good idea.
So we're doing a little bit of work in that regard. It's a great program. They're getting 30 pounds of fresh fruit, vegetables, meat, milk, cottage cheese, yogurt in a bag. And all they need is some identification shows they have a name and they live in the White Mountains. There's no big thing that you have to fill out. And we're receiving help from NACOG to co-sponsor us, which is very helpful. It's a great program. I think with the closure of Love Kitchen, that may increase substantially. It just hasn't reached the people that are using Love Kitchen to find out that it's closed. So we're at that interim stage. We're trying to advertise. But
thank you very
if any
much.
of you want a free bag of nice vegetables and fruit, please come. Keep our numbers up, so otherwise we lose the program. We can't let this food go to waste, and pass it forward.
Thank you, Councilor Hastings. That's valuable information. Is that the only thing? You don't have no other?
The only thing, I go to my regular natural resources working group on Zoom, 4Fry on Zoom. Today I went to the 4Fry monitoring board on Zoom, but nothing's meeting in person, but they're still perking along. I have hopes since, Mayor, you met with the Chief Morgan, the fire department, and we have to study the intergovernmental agreement. So we'll see. Hopefully, the Forest Health Committee will get revitalized one of these days, and I will have a report on that when it happens. Thank you.
Thank you. Vice Mayor.
Not too much going on with the Transportation Advisory Council, except for the stop that's near the Love Kitchen. And I'd be interested to find out who I can talk to when they really might reopen that. Because without the Love Kitchen in operation, that bus stop behind so we're considering in January, we have a meeting, January 18th, to talk about what to do with that stop sign. I really need information to help me with that, so I'd appreciate it. Do that for me. Other than that, I don't have anything else.
Thank you. Councillor Watson?
Thanks, Mayor. May sound like a broken record, but we did have our governing board meeting of the hospital last night, and we continue to see increases. I think our inpatient is right around 37. That's higher than it's been since the first peak of the original pandemic. We have in-home program over 60. We have staff that we can't afford to be out. I think we're at over 40. So it is important that people recognize that we are somewhat in crisis mode again. I think throughout the state, I don't have the exact number, but I believe the ICU bed throughout the state are at over 90%, which means if you try and send somebody somewhere else, they don't have capacity either. And I think probably all of us know of somebody, unfortunately, who has succumbed to this virus. And so I guess I make a personal plea for anyone who is still on the fence regarding vaccination to do a serious look at the possibility. I got both the flu shot and a booster shot yesterday, and I'm here, alive, and pretty well. So anyway, it is really impacting our healthcare delivery, not only in this area but throughout the state of Arizona. So I make a plea again for people to consider taking the precautions necessary to help us slow this down. That's all.
Thank you, Councillor Watson.
And happy Thanksgiving. I don't want to end on a
There you go.
bad note.
Thank you. Councillor Snitzer, any other good news for us?
Well, I've got a few things going on. The Rainbow Lake Coalition group, the water quality is good. This summer, the lake never got as low as it got last summer, which was record low. Excuse me, and the lake is very slowly rising now, so with runoff, there's a good reason to hope it'll fill up completely this winter. The head gate at Rainbow Lake is still not fixed. The irrigation district is struggling with a lot of issues. Their president just died, Ethan Ellsworth, at a relatively young age from COVID, and so they're trying to regroup. The group is, the Rainbow Lake Coalition is trying to work with the irrigation district. There's some issues that they face that they're not fully cognizant of, like their right to that water. They believe they have some, David versus Goliath kind of David always wins, but it's not true that David always wins. And there are people in this state that have their eyes on that water, and one of the things they have to demonstrate is continuous beneficial use of the property, and we're working on this. We think the town can help because we can show that recreation is now considered, wasn't in 1800 when all these laws were established, but it is now considered a beneficial use. So we may be able to help them, but they're hard to help. The Nature Center, I already gave you my big news on the grant. We're working very hard to put a heating unit. We had one building that hasn't had the heating units on the roof connected for 25 years, and it has been a long journey to get those connected. Turned out somebody removed the wire, so it took us about $3,000 to put back what they probably sold for $30. So we put all the wire back. We tried to fire up the old units. They're too old. They can't fire up, so we're putting new units on there. The Raptor show, the people are moving up here. They bought a house close to Jerry. They'll be moving up here in January, and the birds will be housed temporarily in the rehab facility at the Nature Center. We're doing fundraising and volunteers. Our first fundraising letter went out a couple of weeks ago, and we got 3 donations, one of which was for $1,000, so we were very pleased. But we're still looking, and we've got one volunteer that's just a star. She's a former game and fish gal that has done work with raptors for years, done raptor shows. So we're getting some really good volunteers and getting some momentum. Tracks is generally not very active, but the Los Burroughs Trail, if any of you hike, that trail is one of our prettiest trails, and sections of it were just destroyed this last summer with the rains, and there was some fire up there, removed the ground cover, and the trail got washed out to where it was unusable and unfixable. And the Tracks volunteers, it was too monumental a job for the Tracks volunteers, so we got contractors in there with heavy equipment, and the trail is now open. It's been rerouted. The new trail's open. We just put the white diamonds up this week. So if you get a chance, if you like the Los Burroughs Trail, please get up there. We're working on grants for bike gates so that we can, throughout the forest, we're up to 43 now we think we need. If you think of in the forest, there's a man gate where a person can go through. But if you're on a bicycle, you've got to stop, get off your bicycle, open the gate, carry the bike through, close the gate, and get back on your bike. So the man gates will stay there, but next to the man gate will be a structure that's kind of like a ramp, or it's sort of like a cattle guard that goes up and down. There's horizontal bars to keep the cattle out, and you'll just be able to ride up and ride down and keep going. And that's a big deal for this town to attract. The bicycle riders are a really great demographic to get in our community. These guys, they're young, they have a lot of money. We've already had some of them that bought homes up here just based on being up here and enjoying our trails. So we hope to get more progress on the bike gates. The Tracks roughly has 500 members. It's one of the biggest organizations up here and the biggest organizations of its kind anywhere in the country. We just got a new volunteer to be our newsletter editor, so that's good. We lost our old editor. And the December meeting will be a Christmas party. We continue to meet the second Saturday of the month, normally at Darby's, but the Christmas party in December is a potluck at my place, actually. So things are going okay with Tracks, even though we're kind of, dialed down a little bit for the winter.
Thank you, Councilor Snitzer. I met this morning with our usual MIAC committee meeting. We were hoping to have them come and actually conduct one of our meetings, but some of the kids were out of town. So we're going to reschedule that probably in January, I'm thinking. So they will actually shadow us and learn how to conduct a real council meeting. These young people have consented to do a survey of the Blue Ridge students to kind of help us in our goal setting for our January retreat. Because I really feel like it's important that we hear from the kids and see what they want our community to look like, if we really have any hope of them coming back home after they go off and get their education. So I'm very excited about that. The Christmas tree lighting is December 3rd at Jack Barker Park. You see our parks crews out there already getting it all set up. I think it's going to be wonderful once again. That is, Santa Claus will be arriving on the fire truck at 6:15 that evening, and we've got performances. I know the choir will be there. Santa Claus will be there and handing out candy canes to all the kids. We'll have a food truck and a coffee shop there. So that'll be a really, really nice event. It'll be good to be back together again after we couldn't do it last year. So I will turn it over to Keith.
Thank you. So just to add to what the mayor was talking about the Christmas tree lighting, we have a lighting up Pinetop-Lakeside during the holiday season promotion going on. For the last 5 years, we've been giving away 4 boxes of lights to any business that would come and pick them up. So we've distributed a lot of lights, and they are coming in now and picking up their lights, and so we're excited about that. We've asked the businesses to light up the town from December the 1st through the 31st of January. We want to keep that Christmas spirit going. On December the 15th, there'll be a panel of judges going around and judging the businesses to find a first, second, and a third place winners. And, you know, we always love going down Evergreen. We love going over to Woodland Hills. We have some great neighborhoods that really go all out. But the businesses right on the main drag, we need that. And so we'll be having fun doing that evening. In addition to the Christmas tree lighting on the 3rd, put this on your calendars, on the 11th and the 18th, we'll have at the Jack Barker Park hot chocolate, coffee, and music, and so you can come and the whole thing is set up to have people with their families or couples, whatever, individuals, come and walk through the lights and enjoy that. It's going to be bigger and better than it was last year, and last year was pretty darn good. And so we're excited to see how this shapes up. So that's all I have.
What were those dates? Those dates again?
The dates, the 11th and the 18th for those nights. And then the 3rd is the Christmas tree lighting. And so that's at 5:30 to 8 o'clock. So you want to get there before 5:30 so you can see the fire truck bring in Santa Claus and have a good time. Let's see. I was going to add also, as staff, we really do enjoy going with assisting the council when they go to the senior center to serve lunch. It means a lot to us. We all enjoy doing that and being able to help you guys in that effort. So thank you.
Okay, Councilor Craigbaum.
I missed saying something about Woodland Lake Park. We have fish. There were 2 batches of fish, 2,000 the first time, and now another 1,000. So kids can go over there and have a great time, I think, and adults, I'm sure, too. So fish in the lake.
That's wonderful news. That's wonderful news. Okay, there being no further business, I join with our entire council and wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, a safe Thanksgiving, and we will be back in December. Thank you. The meeting is adjourned.